Did you know P Diddy once spent $3 million on a single party? That's more than most people earn in a lifetime, but for Diddy, it's just another Tuesday. His spending habits are so insane they make other celebrities look cheap. From private islands to diamond-encrusted toilets, we're about to show you how P Diddy burns through cash faster than anyone else in Hollywood. And the craziest part? He's doing all this while his net worth is actually shrinking. You won't want to miss a single second of this wild ride through Diddy's $800 million fortune, the $200 million nosedive. Yo, remember when P Diddy was worth $1 billion? Well, that ain't the case no more. In just 1 year, Diddy's net worth took a nosedive from $1 billion to $800 million. That's a $200 million drop faster than you can say bad boy for life. To put that in perspective, the average American household brings in about $70,000 a year. Diddy lost more than 2,857 times that amount. It's like if your entire neighborhood suddenly vanished from your bank account. The man could have bought a small town with that cash, but instead it just, poof, disappeared. $200 million ain't just pocket change, even for someone like Diddy. That kind of money could buy you 10 mega mansions in Beverly Hills or your own private island in the Caribbean. Heck, you could probably buy both and still have enough left over for a fleet of yachts. So what caused this financial freefall? Well, it ain't just one thing. Diddy's been hit with a perfect storm of money problems. First off, his Sean John clothing brand, once a streetwear powerhouse, has been struggling. The fashion game is tough and Diddy's brand just ain't keeping up with the new kids on the block. Then there's the legal troubles. Diddy's been slapped with multiple lawsuits, including some serious allegations that could cost him big time if they stick. Legal fees alone can eat up millions, and that's before any potential settlements or judgments. But it ain't just about losing money. Some of Diddy's investments just aren't performing like they used to. The music industry's changing fast, and even a mogul like Diddy's got to adapt or get left behind. Now, you'd think losing $200 million would make a guy tighten his belt, right? Maybe switch from Cristal to Coors Light. But nah, not Diddy. This is where things get wild. Instead of cutting back, Diddy doubled down on luxury. It's like he looked at his shrinking bank account and said, "Challenge accepted." So what did Diddy do after watching $200 million slip through his fingers? He went on a spending spree that would make a lottery winner blush. We're talking mansions, yachts, private jets, the works. It's like he's trying to spend his way back to billionaire status. But here's the thing. Diddy ain't just throwing money around for no reason. Every purchase, every party, every gold-plated whatever is part of his brand. In Diddy's world, looking rich is just as important as being rich. It's all about the image, the lifestyle, the Diddy experience. So while most folks would be freaking out over losing $200 million, Diddy's out here acting like it's all part of the plan. He's betting big that keeping up appearances will pay off in the long run. It's a high-stakes game of financial chicken, and Diddy's going all in. Now, you might be thinking this is crazy talk. And yeah, it kinda is, but that's Diddy for you. He didn't get to where he is by playing it safe, so buckle up, because we're about to take a wild ride through some of Diddy's most insane purchases. Trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet. Let's check out some of Diddy's wildest buys that are eating up his fortune faster than you can say, mo money, mo problems. Mansion madness, Diddy's $39 million crib. When it comes to insane purchases, Diddy's Holmby Hills mansion takes the cake. This ain't just any old house. We're talking 17,000 square feet of pure luxury that'll make your jaw drop. But here's the real kicker. There's one feature in this $39 million crib that's so wild, it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about living large. Let's break it down. Diddy scooped up this mega mansion back in 2014, dropping a cool $39 million like it was nothing. This place is sitting pretty in Holmby Hills, one of the fanciest neighborhoods in Los Angeles. We're talking about an area where your average house costs more than $10 million. But Diddy ain't about that average life. This mansion is massive, sprawling over 17,000 square feet. That's big enough to fit about 7 regular-sized houses inside. As soon as you roll up, you're hit with a grand entrance that screams, "I've made it." Inside, it's a maze of bedrooms and bathrooms, more than you could ever use unless you're throwing the party of the century every night. But Diddy didn't stop at just buying the place. Nah, he had to put his own stamp on it. Word is he's added some custom touches that make this place even more over the top. We're talking features that most people can't even imagine in their wildest dreams. Let's start with the basics, if you can call anything in this house basic. There's a home theater that probably makes your local cinema look like a TV in a closet. The gym, it's probably bigger and better equipped than the one you pay monthly fees for. And the pool, it's not just a pool, it's practically a water park. But that's just the beginning. Diddy's got a wine cellar that would make a French vineyard owner jealous, and a spa that's so luxurious it makes five-star hotels look like motel bathrooms. Every room in this place is designed to make you feel like royalty. Now you might be thinking, sure, that's cool, but is it really worth $39 million? Well, in Holmby Hills, that kind of price tag ain't that unusual. But even by those standards, Diddy's place is something special. It's like he took everything that makes a house expensive and cranked it up to 11. But here's where things get really wild. The most mind-blowing feature of Diddy's mansion isn't even inside the house, it's the outdoor space. We're talking about gardens that look like they were transported straight from Versailles. The landscaping is so perfect, it makes Central Park look like a backyard veggie patch. And the outdoor entertainment areas, they're built for parties that would make Gatsby jealous. Imagine hosting hundreds of guests with multiple bars, lounge areas, and maybe even a stage for impromptu performances. This ain't just a backyard, it's a full-on event venue. So, what's the wildest thing about this mega mansion? It's got to be the fact that for Diddy, this is just one of his homes. This $39 million palace is basically his idea of a nice little place to crash when he's in LA. It's a testament to how Diddy lives on a whole different level. But you know what? A house even one this insane just ain't enough for Diddy. Now, when you're living the Diddy lifestyle, you gotta be mobile. You can't be tied down to one spot no matter how luxurious. So how does a man like Diddy get around when he's tired of his $39 million mansion? Well, let's just say he's taking the phrase traveling in style to new heights. Literally. Sky-high stunting, Diddy's gold-plated jet. You thought first class was fancy? Forget about it. Diddy's idea of air travel is so next level, it makes your average luxury jet look like a toy plane. We're talking about a flying fortress that's more bling than wings, and you won't believe how much this sky-high status symbol costs. Diddy's not just flying high, he's doing it in a custom Gulfstream G550. This ain't your grandma's private jet. It's the kind of ride that makes other celebrities green with envy. The G550 is already a beast in the sky, known for its luxury and performance. But Diddy being Diddy, he had to take it up a notch. Step inside this airborne palace and you're hit with luxury at every turn. We're talking leather seats so soft you might forget you're 40,000 feet in the air. The onboard entertainment system? It's probably better than your home theater. Diddy's making sure he's never bored on those long flights between mansions. But here's where things get wild. Diddy didn't stop at just making the inside nice. Nah, he went and gold-plated this bird. You heard that right. Gold-plated. It's like King Midas got his hands on an airplane. The custom paint job. It's probably visible from space. This jet doesn't just fly, it makes a statement. Now you might be thinking, sure, that's cool, but how much could it really cost? Well, hold on to your wallets, because this is going to hurt. A regular Gulfstream G550 without all the Diddy touches already sets you back about $60 million. That's before you even think about adding gold plating or custom anything. To put that in perspective, a first-class ticket on a commercial flight might cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. Diddy spent that much on the in-flight snacks alone. And if you're thinking about cars, forget it. The average luxury car, we're talking your fancy BMWs or Mercedes, might cost you between $50,000 to $200,000. Diddy's jet makes those look like Hot Wheels. But we ain't even gotten to the real shocker yet. Remember all those custom features we talked about? The gold plating, the paint job, the entertainment system that probably rivals a small movie theater. All that ain't free. In fact, it adds millions to the price tag. So what's the damage? What's the final cost of Diddy's flying fortress? Brace yourselves, because this number's going to make your head spin. When all's said and done, Diddy's gold-plated private jet could easily cost over $100 million. Yeah, you read that right. 9 figures for a ride in the sky. That's enough money to buy a small island, fund a blockbuster movie, or feed a small country for a year. But for Diddy, it's just another way to get from A to B. It's not just transportation, it's a statement. Every time this golden bird takes off, it's screaming, Diddy's here, to the whole world. But here's the craziest part. This jet is just one piece of Diddy's luxury lifestyle puzzle. It's like he's playing a game of who can spend the most money, and he's the only contestant. The jet's impressive, sure, but it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Diddy's spending habits. So next time you're stuck in economy, cramped between a crying baby and a snoring businessman, just remember, somewhere out there, Diddy's lounging in a gold-plated chair, sipping champagne at 40,000 feet. But don't get too jealous. After all, Diddy's sky-high stunting doesn't stop when he touches down. Nah, when this man hits the road, he does it in style that'll make your head spin. Let's see how Diddy rolls when he's back on solid ground. Rolling in style, Diddys Car Collection. From 40,000 feet to zero, 60 in seconds flat. Diddy's Car Collection is like a Fast and Furious movie come to life, but with way more bling. You think his jet was wild? Wait till you see what's parked in his driveway. One of these rides costs more than some people's houses. When Diddy pulls up, he's not just arriving, he's making an entrance. His garage ain't just a place to park cars. It's a museum of motorized madness worth about $3 million. That's more than most folks make in a lifetime, but for Diddy, it's just another day in the life. Let's take a tour of this four-wheeled wonderland. First up, we got the Lamborghini Gallardo Spider. This Italian beast ain't just fast, it's a work of art. With its sleek lines and roaring engine, it's the kind of car that makes grown men weak in the knees. Diddy's probably got this thing customized to the nines, because you know he ain't rolling stock. But the Lambo's just the start. Diddy's also got a Maybach 57 in his collection. This ain't your average luxury ride. It's like a five-star hotel on wheels. We're talking reclining seats that'll make you never want to get out, and a sound system that could probably blow the roof off. Knowing Diddy, he's probably got some crazy custom touches in there too. Then there's the Rolls-Royce Phantom. This ain't just a car, it's a statement. With a base price of about $450,000, it's the kind of ride that screams, "I've made it," louder than any hit single ever could. And you can bet Diddy's got his tricked out to reflect his personal style. But Diddy ain't stopping there. Word is he's also got a Bentley Continental GT, a Ferrari 458 Italia, and a custom Cadillac Escalade. It's like he's trying to collect every luxury brand out there. Each one of these rides is a flex all on its own, but together, they're a whole different level of stunting. Now you might be thinking, sure, but how much is all this really worth? Well, hold on to your steering wheel, because the total value of Diddy's Car Collection is estimated at around $3 million. That's more than 40 times what the average American household makes in a year. For most folks, that kind of money could buy a nice house in a good neighborhood. For Diddy, it's just what's parked in his garage. But here's the thing, Diddy ain't just buying these cars to show off. Each ride in his collection is like a piece of his personality on wheels. The Lambo shows his wild side, the Rolls-Royce his luxurious taste, the Bentley his appreciation for classic elegance. It's like he's curated a collection that reflects every facet of his larger-than-life persona. So what's the crown jewel of Diddy's automotive arsenal? Well, that's hard to say. Each one of these rides is special in its own way. But if we had to pick, it might just be that Rolls-Royce Phantom. With its jaw-dropping price tag and unmatched luxury, it's the kind of car that even other celebs get jealous of. But here's the wildest part. As insane as Diddy's Car Collection is, it's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to his lavish lifestyle. Sure, he's got wheels that'll make your head spin, but that's nothing compared to what he's got floating out on the water. Because when Diddy wants to really flex, he doesn't hit the road, he sets sail. And trust me, his yacht game is on a whole other level of crazy. Yacht life, Diddy's floating palace. Forget luxury cars, Diddy's got a whole city block floating on the ocean. This ain't just any yacht, it's a $39 million beast that'll make your jaw drop. And get this, the annual upkeep on this thing could buy you a fleet of Lambos. But why is Diddy spending more on his boat than some folks spend on their house? Well, when you're Diddy, a regular old yacht just won't cut it. Nah, he needs a floating palace that's fit for hip-hop royalty. We're talking about a vessel so massive it probably has its own zip code. This bad boy is decked out with more luxuries than most five-star hotels. Let's start with the basics. Diddy's yacht is packed with multiple jacuzzis, because why have just one when you can have several? Imagine chilling in a bubbling hot tub while cruising through the Mediterranean. That's just a regular Tuesday for Diddy. But the real kicker, this thing's got its own helipad. Yeah, you heard that right. When Diddy wants to make an entrance, he doesn't just pull up to the dock, he drops in from the sky. But wait, there's more. This floating mansion also boasts its own cinema, so while you're out there watching movies on your phone, Diddy's got a full-blown theater experience in the middle of the ocean. It's like he took a luxury resort and decided to make it seaworthy. Now you might be thinking, who's keeping this massive ship running? Well, it ain't just Diddy and his friends. Nah, a yacht this size needs a whole crew to keep it afloat. We're talking anywhere from 10 to 30 people, depending on how wild Diddy wants to get. That's like having a small village living on your boat just to make sure everything's running smooth. And let me tell you, running this water palace ain't cheap. The annual operating costs for a yacht like this can easily sail past $1 million. That's right, Diddy's dropping 7 figures a year just to keep this thing floating. We're talking maintenance, crew salaries, docking fees, the works. It's enough to make your wallet cry just thinking about it. But here's where things get really wild. The inside of this yacht is so fancy, it'd make a luxury hotel look like a motel. Diddy's gone all out with custom furnishings and high-end materials that scream, "I'm richer than you'll ever be." Every inch of this floating paradise is designed to reflect Diddy's personal style. It's like he took a piece of his mansion and set it adrift. Now let's put this insanity into perspective. The total cost of Diddy's yacht? A cool $39 million. That's more than the GDP of some small island nations. For that kind of cash, you could buy a whole fleet of regular yachts and still have enough left over to buy a private island to dock them at. But the craziest part about all this? For Diddy, it's just another toy in his collection of ridiculous luxuries. This man's spending habits are so wild, a $39 million yacht barely makes a dent. It's like he's playing a real-life version of who can spend the most money, and he's determined to win. So, next time you're feeling fancy taking a ride on a paddle boat at the local park, just remember, somewhere out there, Diddy's probably throwing a party on his floating mansion complete with a red carpet for the helicopter arrivals. But don't get too jealous. After all, Diddy's ocean madness is just one part of his over-the-top lifestyle. Because when it comes to showing off his wealth, Diddy's just getting started. You think his yacht's wild? Wait till you see what he's got hanging around his neck. Bling King, Diddy's jewelry collection. From ocean to ice, Diddy's dripping in more ways than one. But here's the real kicker. One of his chains could buy you a mansion, a yacht, and still leave change for a private island. How's that even possible? When it comes to bling, Diddy's not playing around. This man's neck is so loaded with ice, it's a wonder he can still walk straight. We're talking about a jewelry collection that's less accessory and more small nation's treasury. Diddy's known for his massive gold and diamond chains, and trust me, these ain't your average rapper chains. Let's start with the basics, if you can call anything in Diddy's collection basic. He's been spotted wearing a custom-made diamond chain that weighs in at over 100 carats. To put that in perspective, most engagement rings are between 1 and 2 carats. Diddy's walking around with a small diamond mine hanging from his neck. But it ain't just about size for Diddy. Nah, his collection is all about meaning too. A lot of his pieces carry some serious historical weight. It's like he's wearing a hip-hop museum around his neck. Each chain, each pendant, it's all part of Diddy's story and his impact on the music industry. Now let's talk about that iconic Diddy pendant. This ain't just any old name tag, it's a diamond-studded masterpiece that's become a symbol of his brand. When Diddy walks into a room wearing that, everyone knows who's in charge. It's like a crown, but way cooler and probably worth more than some actual crowns. Diddy's not content with off-the-shelf bling either. He's all about that custom life. His jewelry often features unique designs that scream Diddy louder than any song ever could. We're talking one-of-a-kind pieces that you couldn't buy even if you had the cash. These are the kind of jewels that make other celebs green with envy. But Diddy's bling game ain't just about chains. His ring collection is insane too. There's this one pinky ring he's got, decked out in diamonds, that probably costs more than most people's cars. It's like he's got a miniature disco ball on his finger. Here's where things get really wild. The value of some of these pieces, it's mind-boggling. We're talking single items that are worth more than what the average American makes in a year. Heck, some of these pieces are probably worth more than what the average American makes in a decade. It's like Diddy's wearing people's life savings as accessories. But what's the crown jewel of Diddy's collection? What's that one piece that makes even billionaires do a double take? Well, it's hard to pick just one, but that 100+ carat diamond chain has got to be up there. That thing isn't just jewelry, it's a statement. It's Diddy saying, "Yeah, I'm that successful." The craziest part? For Diddy, this isn't even about showing off. Well, okay, maybe it's a little bit about showing off, but it's more than that. Each piece in his collection tells a story. It's about his journey, his heritage, his accomplishments. When Diddy puts on his jewelry, he's not just getting dressed, he's putting on his history. And so next time you're feeling fancy with your little gold chain from the mall, just remember, somewhere out there, Diddy's probably struggling to decide which $1 million piece to wear today. But don't get too jealous. After all, Diddy's bling is just one part of his ridiculous luxury lifestyle. And if you think his jewelry's impressive, wait till you see what he's got strapped to his wrist. Because when it comes to telling time, Diddy's on a whole different level. Time is money, Diddy's watch collection. You think Diddy's neck is iced out? Wait till you see his wrists. This man's got watches that cost more than houses. But there's one timepiece in his collection that's so rare, it's got other celebs begging to trade their Lambos for it. What could make a watch that valuable? Diddy ain't just about keeping time, he's about flexing every second of it. His watch collection is a whole other level of luxury, making his $1 million chains look like pocket change. We're talking about timepieces that cost more than most people's lifetime earnings, all strapped to one man's wrist. Let's start with the crown jewel of Diddy's collection, his custom-made Rolex. Now, Rolex is already a name that screams luxury, but Diddy had to take it up a notch. This ain't your average Rolex you'd see in a store window. Nah, this is a one-of-a-kind piece that Diddy had made just for him. We're talking about a watch that could cost anywhere from $10,000 to over $100,000. That's right, Diddy's got a car's worth of bling just chilling on his wrist. But Diddy doesn't stop at Rolex. He's also got a Richard Mille in his collection. If you ain't heard of Richard Mille, just know it's the kind of brand that makes other luxury watches look cheap. These bad boys often go for more than $200,000 a pop. That's the kind of watch that makes people wonder if it tells time or prints money. And let's not forget about Diddy's diamond-encrusted Audemars Piguet. This ain't just a watch, it's a work of art. Audemars Piguet is known for their crazy craftsmanship, and Diddy's piece is no exception. We're talking about a timepiece that could easily set you back $50,000 or more. That's the price of a nice sports car, just to tell you it's time for lunch. But Diddy's collection goes even deeper. He's got limited edition pieces from brands like Hublot and Patek Philippe. These ain't just expensive, they're rare. We're talking about watches that collectors would sell their grandma's house to get their hands on. Some of these pieces can fetch prices well into the six figures, that's right. Diddy's got single watches worth more than some people's entire net worth. So how much is Diddy's entire watch collection worth? Hold on to your Timex, because this number's gonna make your head spin. The estimated total value of Diddy's watch collection is believed to be somewhere between $1 million and $2 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Diddy's got more money on his wrist than most people have in their bank accounts. To put that in perspective, the average cost of a new car in the United States is around $40,000. That means Diddy's watch collection could buy you a fleet of 25 to 50 brand new cars. It's like he's got a whole car dealership strapped to his arms. But here's the thing. For Diddy, this ain't just about telling time or showing off. Each of these watches is a piece of art, a testament to craftsmanship and luxury. It's Diddy's way of carrying a piece of history and culture with him wherever he goes. Every time he checks the time, he's not just seeing hours and minutes, he's seeing the culmination of years of watchmaking expertise. So next time you're checking the time on your phone, just remember, somewhere out there, Diddy's probably deciding which $1 million watch to wear today. But don't get too jealous. After all, Diddy's watch game is just one part of his over-the-top lifestyle. And if you think his personal spending is wild, wait till you see how he throws a party. Because when it comes to celebrations, Diddy takes things to a whole new level of crazy. Party like Diddy, the $3 million bash. You thought dropping a couple $100 on a night out was big spending? Diddy once threw down $3 million on a single party. That's like buying a mansion, then burning it down for fun. But the craziest part, it's not even the most shocking thing about this bash. When it comes to throwing parties, Diddy's in a league of his own. He's famous for his white parties, where everyone shows up dressed in all white like they're about to paint the town. Well, white. But these ain't your average backyard barbecues. Nah, Diddy's parties are the kind of events that make the Met Gala look like a kid's birthday at Chuck E. Cheese. Let's break down this $3 million extravaganza. First off, the guest list. We're talking A-list celebs only. Paris Hilton, Leonardo DiCaprio, Chris Brown, Jay-Z, Kim Kardashian, Beyoncé. If you ain't on TMZ regularly, you ain't getting in. It's like the Oscars after party, but with better music and way more champagne. The venue? Only the most exclusive spots will do for Diddy. We're talking places that make Buckingham Palace look like a motel. Every inch is decked out in decorations that probably cost more than your car. Imagine walking into a room where even the trash cans are made of solid gold. That's the level of luxury we're dealing with here. Now, let's talk food and drinks. Diddy ain't serving up no cocktail weenies and cheap beer. We're talking gourmet cuisine that would make Gordon Ramsay weep with joy. The drinks? Top shelf everything. You want a rare vintage champagne that costs more than your rent? Coming right up. But here's where things get really wild. The entertainment at Diddy's parties is next level. We're not just talking about a DJ spinning tracks. Nah. Diddy's bringing in full-on performances from the biggest names in music. It's like having your own private Grammy Awards show in your living room. To put this insanity in perspective, let's compare it to something normal folks might splurge on. A wedding. The average wedding in the US costs around $34,000. Diddy's party? It's like having 88 average weddings all at once. You could get married every day for 3 months straight and still not spend as much as Diddy did on one night of partying. So what's the craziest thing Diddy splurged on for this bash? Was it a live elephant dipped in gold? A fleet of hovercrafts to ferry guests around? A time machine to bring Frank Sinatra back for a performance. Nah, the most outrageous expense was actually the catering. Diddy went all out on the food and drinks, serving up a spread that would make a royal banquet look like a fast food drive-through. We're talking about dishes prepared by world-renowned chefs, rare delicacies flown in from across the globe, and enough premium booze to fill an Olympic-sized swimming pool. But here's the thing, for Diddy, this $3 million bash isn't just about showing off. It's about creating an experience, a moment in time that people will talk about for years to come. It's his way of bringing together the best of the best, creating connections and, yeah, maybe flexing a little bit too. So next time you're stressed about spending $50 on a night out, just remember, somewhere out there, Diddy's probably planning his next multi-million-dollar shindig. But don't get too jealous. After all, Diddy's parties are just one part of his over-the-top lifestyle. And if you think his bashes are extravagant, wait till you see how he lives day to day. Because when it comes to luxury, Diddy's everyday life is like a non-stop party that never ends. Living large, Diddy's daily expenses. You've seen how Diddy throws down for a party, but his daily grind? That's where things get really wild. Imagine spending more before breakfast than most folks make in a month. For Diddy, that's just a typical Tuesday. What's his most insane daily expense? Let's just say it ain't his morning coffee. Diddy's everyday life is like a non-stop luxury commercial, and his regular expenses would make most people's heads spin. Let's start with the basics, or what counts as basic in Diddy's world. First up, there's his personal chef. This ain't your average meal prep service. Nah, Diddy's got a gourmet chef on call 24/7, whipping up custom meals tailored to his tastes. Want a lobster omelette at 3 a.m? No problem. Craving a truffle-infused smoothie before your workout? Coming right up. But the culinary indulgences are just the appetizer. Diddy's security team is where things start to get really pricey. We're talking about a crew of highly trained professionals keeping watch around the clock. Reports suggest that his security costs can run into the hundreds of thousands annually. That's right, Diddy's spending more on security in a year than most people spend on their mortgage. And let's not forget about maintaining those multiple residences. Remember that $39 million villa in Holmby Hills? It ain't cheap to keep that place running. We're talking utilities, maintenance, and a full staff to keep everything in tip-top shape. It's like running a small hotel, but with only one very demanding guest. Now let's put Diddy's daily spend into perspective. The average American household shells out about $5,000 monthly on living expenses. Diddy, he's probably spending that before lunchtime. His daily lifestyle costs are astronomical, with estimates suggesting he burns through thousands of dollars each day on various luxuries. But it ain't just about the big-ticket items. Diddy's got a taste for the finer things in life, and that extends to every aspect of his day. We're talking about designer clothes for every outfit change, top-shelf grooming products, and probably more bling than your local jewelry store. Even his morning coffee probably costs more than your weekly grocery bill. And don't even get me started on his travel habits. When Diddy needs to get somewhere, he ain't catching the bus. Private jets, luxury cars with chauffeurs, maybe even a helicopter ride if he's in a hurry. Each trip costs more than most people's annual vacations. So what's Diddy's most ridiculous regular expense? It's got to be his personal security and staff. This ain't just about having a bodyguard or two. We're talking about a small army of people catering to Diddy's every whim 24/7. It's like he's got his own personal country running, with him as the very pampered president. But here's the wildest part. For Diddy, this is just normal life. It's like he's living in a world where money doesn't exist, or at least doesn't mean the same thing it does to the rest of us. His lifestyle is often described as a non-stop luxury commercial, and that ain't no exaggeration. So next time you're feeling fancy splurging on a $5 latte, just remember, somewhere out there Diddy's probably spending your annual salary on breakfast. But don't get too jealous. After all, Diddy's daily expenses are just one part of his over-the-top lifestyle. And if you think his regular spending is wild, wait till you hear about some of his weirder purchases. Because when it comes to bizarre buys, Diddy's in a league of his own. Odd splurges. Diddy's weirdest purchases. Alright, so Diddy burns through cash like it's going out of style on the daily. But that's nothing compared to his weirdest buys. We're talking stuff that'll make you go, wait, he spent how much on what? Imagine dropping more on a single item than most folks make in a year. And it ain't even something you can drive or live in. Diddy's got a knack for splurging on the strangest things. Sure, he's got his mansions and yachts, but it's the odd purchases that really show how wild his spending habits are. We're talking about items that most people wouldn't even think to buy, let alone drop serious cash on. One of Diddy's quirkier habits, he's got a thing for custom-made toilets. Yeah, you heard that right. This man's spending thousands on toilets that are probably fancier than most people's entire bathrooms. We're talking gold-plated fixtures, heated seats, and probably more features than your smartphone. It's like he's trying to turn every bathroom break into a luxury experience. But the weird purchases don't stop there. Diddy's also known for his superstitious spending. Word is he's got a personal numerologist on speed dial. This person's job? To make sure all of Diddy's big decisions align with his lucky numbers. Imagine dropping thousands just to make sure you're buying stuff on the right day. It's like astrology, but with a much bigger price tag. And let's not forget about Diddy's obsession with scent. This man's got a fragrance collection that could probably stock a small perfume store. But we're not just talking about regular cologne here. Nah, Diddy's into custom-made scents that cost more than most people's cars. It's like he's trying to smell like money itself. Now you might be thinking, sure, that's weird, but how much could this stuff really cost? Well, let's put it in perspective. The money Diddy spends on a single custom toilet could probably buy a decent used car. That numerologist consultation, it's probably costing more than your monthly rent. And those custom fragrances, you could probably pay off a good chunk of your student loans with what Diddy spends on smelling good. But all of this is just the warm-up. The absolute weirdest thing Diddy's spent big money on. It's something so bizarre, so out of left field, that it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about rich people's shopping habits. Get ready for this. Diddy once had 1,000 bottles of baby oil delivered to his house. Yeah, you heard that right. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Now, we're not talking about little travel-sized bottles here. We're talking full-sized bottles, enough to fill a small swimming pool with the stuff. And what in the world could Diddy possibly need with that much baby oil? Is he planning on wrestling an entire football team, setting up the world's slipperiest slip and slide? Or maybe he's just really worried about dry skin. Whatever the reason, it's clear that Diddy's spending habits are on a whole different level of weird. But here's the thing. As wild as Diddy's personal purchases are, they're just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to his spending. Because while he's out there buying baby oil by the truckload, he's also making some serious moves in the business world. And let me tell you, when Diddy decides to invest, he goes just as big as he does with his personal splurges. So buckle up, because we're about to dive into the world of Diddy's big money business moves.